Welcome to Music City Fitness with your host Josh Gamble and Kat Beach, talking real deal health and wellness and, well, all around body talk. Their friends and colleagues from across the globe are here to share their views with you too. It's just another day in the journey, so grab a drink and a bite to eat and hang with them for a while as they open up new ideas for you.
Have you here. I'm Kat Beach, and this is Josh.
Everybody.
I always like to have fun with that. Josh Campbell. Josh and I have worked together for a while, and we decided to put together Music City Fitness because we realized there was a lot going on in the health and wellness world, and there's just too much information for people. So to try to grasp a what and a why can be really, really challenging. So we decided to do Music City Fitness so you guys have an opportunity to meet a lot of our friends and colleagues across the globe. So tonight we are really blessed to have some great friends of ours, not mine, but soon will be, I hope.
It will be by the end of the night.
Yes, by the end of the night, I'm going to know a lot about you guys. They are the co-founders of Artistic Muscle, which I really love that name, by the way, guys. Jordon Hull and JJ Goforth. Welcome, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Good.
And, there's one thing before I get into the meat of this, because I got a lot of questions between you and Josh. I always forget to say subscribe. And please be part of our YouTube experience week to week, because we've got a lot of people coming on. And and there's something that I believe our producer made sure I was going to say, and it's called hit the bell, so that it shows you, what is it, Josh, that an hour ahead of time or something?
Yeah, just kind of notify them, let them know when the podcast start. Also, you got to tell them the new big news for us.
Oh, we got big news. You tell them.
We got approved by Apple to be on the iTunes podcast. So for little guys like us starting out, it's a little victory. So you guys can't catch YouTube live. You can always just subscribe. Or you can go on to iTunes and click the podcast and download us on iTunes now.
Isn't that great? Because then people can work out and listen to us. They don't even have to look at us.
Or
Although,
don't want to work, hang out with your spouse, just ignore them. Put us on.
So listen, I want, first off, I want you guys to introduce yourselves, but then I want to know how you know Josh. So you go first on the intro, JJ.
Okay, my name is JJ. I've been in Nashville for about 5 years. Right when I got here, I connected. I was at the gym, obviously. I ran into a guy that was friends with my brother named Chase, and he ended up taking me to Barry's. And I went to Barry's boot camp, and that's how I ran in and met Josh. It was like, I talked to him, started working there. He basically just took me under his wing.
Yeah, it's true. It's
That's history.
Well, we came in one day and it was like, he was just like working at the smoothie bar. And I'm like, yeah, this guy seems pretty cool. We just chit-chatted for a little bit. I think we started talking tattoos. Was probably the first thing that came up besides the gym stuff. Josh got a lot of cool tattoos and I had a few at the time. And then we just got to talking about, man, we should get together and work out one time. And we worked out for about a year and a half, I think, down at the Gold's Gym in Bellevue.
Yeah, it was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Then we did what? Six months in the Gulch.
6 months in the Gulch, and then we just got busy. And then I started working out at my gym here and doing classes at Barry's, and I think you guys have kind of switched over to the downtown to the YMCA scene.
Yeah, I've been working out. I like that, by the way, bro. I've been working out in Cleo recently, for about the past month. Yeah, so waiting on, I'm going to join probably one of the gyms downtown. I haven't decided which one. I tried out Mac the other day with the 1440, but it ended up being closed. Great, drove all the way down there on pre-workout.
Yeah.
What was that?
Kind of close to downtown. Where's it located, the 1440?
Just still off of, what was that, Harding Place?
Yeah, there's two of them. There's one off Harding and one in Antioch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have two locations now.
Oh, cool.
There's a handful of good gyms
Are
around.
some of those Instagram videos that I saw of all of you guys working out together?
Yeah, we
Likely so. Yes.
we used to do every once in a while, like Jordan come in town. Jordan's down in Atlanta, and he would come in town. We'd jump into one. All there was like a team workout, but we used to just get. Sometimes we'd have 4 or 5 people come in and jump into workouts, and I mean we'd kind of be the guys taking up like a whole section of the Gold's Gym over there and doing videos, and you'd see someone like posing and just videoing, and we were just those guys for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
You were those guys.
It was a good time, though.
Like blocks y'all, whoever doesn't know what I'm talking about, just go to Josh Gamble's Instagram, and you have like blocks of like 4
all
people.
Over.
It's great.
We had like guest people work out with us like every week. And we'd be working out, and people like, hey man, I want to jump in with y'all, you know, when y'all working out next week. And I know Josh knows everybody. So he's like, yeah man, come on, let's go. Every week it was just rotating people.
Yeah, it was fun. We had it was a good way to kind of spread the word too, because you get some people who like they want to work out, but they don't know really what to do or how to like get a program or routine going. So then they would just kind of like jump in and follow our programming or whatever we were doing, and then they'd kind of go off and do their own thing.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. It was fun.
Y'all put a beat down on it. I saw a lot of those videos.
Well, Jordan,
Tell us
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Jordan. I actually met Josh Gamble through JJ. Me and JJ actually went to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga together. We're the same fraternity as well, Phi Beta Sigma, Blue Phi. And so we shared common interests, you know, starting back in college. Once, you know, I graduated and he moved to Nashville, he kind of got into the fitness scene a little bit before I did. I think he started preparing for a show maybe in 2015. And actually went to that show and supported him in that one. And he'd been trying to get me to join, or, you know, jump in the NPC show for quite some time because I was doing CrossFit for maybe 3-4 years, and you know, competed regionally there. But never really took my diet seriously until JJ was like, "Man, you should just do this, man. You got the physique, blah blah blah." So I want to say probably late 2015, early 2016. I decided to jump into a show, or at least get a coach, and then jump into a show. And that's where I met Josh Gamble. You know, kind of just working out with Josh, going to Gold's Gym. You know, our paths kind of connected, and then ever since then we've kind of been like brothers. So yeah, that's how we met and how we connected for the most part.
Yeah. I really dig the name you guys came up with, Artistic Muscle. Who came up with that?
I won't take the credit.
So it started, basically we were just trying to, go ahead, Jordan.
No, I was saying I won't take the credit for it. That was me.
So I guess the way it started was just, I got tired of this, every day you go in the gym, you know, you see people, you got to cut up shirts, you got to figure out what to wear. And I was like, man, I kind of want to do something with clothes. And I started talking to Jordan, like, hey, you know, the graphic designers, like I kind of got a logo. And we started like going back and forth. He's like, hey, you know, what do you want to do? And I told him, explain it. He sent it off. And when they sent it back, he's like, what do you want to do with this? Like, explain it. Like, let's talk about it. I mean, it's kind of like just being artistic. So no matter what you're doing, if it's, you know, IT work, if it's paint, if it's, you know, designing clothes, whatever your passion is, whatever your goal, you're artistic and creative with that in your own, like, self-being. And so with that, you also create your muscle and build your body the way you want to.
I dig that. I like the idea of building the body, and quite frankly, it becomes so. I come from a bodybuilder's background, so it becomes so, I don't know, less artistic, less flowing, and Artistic Muscle resonated with me.
Yeah, definitely.
It felt good just to read it. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of people say that bodybuilding is essentially a work of art, right? You start with a blank canvas, you know, basically your starting point with your physique, which could be, you know, somebody that's coming off the street and not really knowing too much about anything. And over the years, they, you know, accumulate this knowledge and understand how to build their physique, what works for their body. And then they can pretty much do whatever they want. If they want bigger legs, they can focus on things that, you know, are working their quads and their hamstrings and their calves. If they want a bigger upper body, because some people are, you know, leg dominant, not me, but, you know, they can start building that as well. So I mean, it's artistic in your own viewpoint of how you want to build your physique. So that kind of also resonates with the name artistic.
Yeah. So both of you chose physique to compete in, correct?
Did? Yep.
Tell me why. Because we have so many different options. We have bodybuilding and different weight classes, physique, different weight classes. We have definitely not bikini for you guys, unless for. but
you never know.
You're right. You are right, Josh. Thank you for calling me on that.
This is supposed to be a shirtless podcast. You never know how it goes. It's so early. This could get interesting.
It could be, bikini, pink bikini.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I definitely won't be doing any bikini, but.
Oh, come on now. Put some heels on and put a bikini on.
Nah, that worked for me.
Interestingly enough, I saw that they was it a decade ago that they put physique in there, because I think they had.
Yeah, it wasn't even a decade. I think it might have started in maybe 2013. So it's still a fairly new division.
Okay.
But when I actually jumped into it, I think Classic Physique was just announced maybe early or late 2016, and I knew from a bodybuilding standpoint, Classic Physique was supposed to be a level down from that major open bodybuilding, right?
Hey, Jordan, real quick, not to interrupt you, but can you break down the difference between physique and classic physique for people who don't really know? Because I think sometimes we're taking for granted no one knows what we're talking about, or everyone knows what we're talking about, but kind of break that down for them real quick.
Sure. So men's physique is a division that was initially created to admire the aesthetic appeal of the male body, right? So this was your beach type physique that any man can basically acquire, right, over time. Classic physique is kind of your golden era aesthetics of bodybuilding. So they judge you from head to toe overall aesthetics. So body symmetry, conditioning, muscle density, all of those things are lumped into how you're judged with classic physique. Whereas in men's physique, we wear board shorts, we're judged from the waist up, but they also look at, how your calves are built. Nowadays, it's like some of the board shorts that are created are so snug to your quads, you can actually see the quads through the shorts anyway. So that plays a factor into how that's how you're judged over time. But classic physique, that for me wasn't anything I could jump right into. So starting from a CrossFit background, it was a lot of high intensity, a lot of tons of volume work, where I wasn't focused on building my quads, building my hamstring, but more so building my endurance through a workout with CrossFit. Now I got strong, but I wouldn't say that it was anywhere close to what a classic physique bodybuilder would be. So
no trunks. I'm sorry, no Speedo. You're full.
Yeah, so classic physiques, they're not a Speedo. It's kind of like compression shorts. So they're about, I want to say they're probably about the length of your hand from your waist.
From your waist.
Yeah, so they're about mid quad. All right, so it's showing all of those lines in your quadricep, even your glutes, because some of those shorts are cut up pretty high on your glutes, so they see the striations in your glutes as well.
Gotcha.
That wasn't something that I was going to be able to attain like that, right?
Right.
So that's why I chose men's physique, to at least get acclimated to the sport, and then figure out if I can continue to build the muscle. Then classic physique would be great. And I've even been looking at doing classic physique over the past couple of years because my body has caught up to what I've been doing. Right?
Okay.
Just for knowledge sake, striation in the glute is actually when you see the muscle fiber. So if anybody doesn't know that, it's to Jordan, JJ, it's extraordinarily difficult to get to that point, and not just dieting down, but to create a physique where you carb load and create this incredible body, and then lean
they're
down.
almost like walking statues.
What's that?
Yeah.
So they're like walking statues.
It's really people don't recognize how hard it is and dangerous it is to get to certain parts of that. So
Definitely.
So awesome, JJ.
The reason I chose it was because when I first moved here, I reconnected with my cousin Charles. Also, he competes, and we would work out every once in a while. And he was just going back and forth. It's like, hey, you're kind of lean. Like, why don't you try this? And so I went to a show. I was like, I kind of like it, I was a little interested in it. And I was like, you know what, what's the worst case scenario? I got a couple weeks. I think I started 12, 13 weeks out, trying to get ready for a show. And I was like, I'm gonna just do it. If I like it, I like it. I'm gonna keep doing it. And so I tried it, he like pushed me through it. And I kind of just fell in love with the whole, I guess I've seen from you get in as much as you put. So if you're dedicated, you eat right, you go to the gym, you wake up, the consistency was just like incredible to me, to like how much you can actually change your body if you want to do it. And then I learned like, I've done this over so many weeks. Over time, I want to see if I can build more. And to me, it's not about like, it's a little bit. It's about the trophies too, like winning. But it's mostly about just like dedicating yourself to like all the hard work you can put yourself through, and like whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. It just takes time. So it's just every day getting up at that, fasted cardio, whether it be, doing HIIT training, whether it be, going to the gym and just pushing iron all day. It's like you have to love it and be dedicated. And you can't just do it once or twice. It's like, no, you have to do it for weeks and weeks and months. It turns into years, and it just never stops. And so just about being dedicated and consistent, just fell in love with it. And then working out with Josh and Jordan, it turned into like competition. Like we go work out, like it would be fun. Like you would all be in there just to, say we're doing sets. It's like, hey, whoever does the least amount on the last one has the extra set. And like that would just push me even harder to work and just build. So the next time, we go on stage or, do a show or a video shoot or, just want to get bigger, like it's there, the motivation, the dedication.
So Josh Gamble,
yep.
Remember when Garrett was talking about the camaraderie?
Yeah.
In the gym, and that's what's missing right now. This was somebody we had on a couple weeks ago, and I got to tell you something. It's probably the most important thing to get in there and actually have that camaraderie, have that friendship, have that push.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes a huge difference because with like say for instance like now taking like if you do like fitness classes, like I'll take classes over at Barry's. It's a group fitness. It's a big HIIT class, so it's like you have 30 to 40 other people in there that you're working with and pushing, and it's competition, but it's friendly competition. It's just like, hey, you can run this a little faster. Hey, you can lift this a little more. Hey, don't take a break. Keep going. It's the same whenever like we're working out. It's like I said, we would video each other and be like, hey, if you don't get this last setup, I'm only going to record the last 2 reps. So it looks like you couldn't get more than 3 reps in. So it's just that extra little push. Man, I'm telling you, when they're like, oh, you just started recording. So then you push out those 3, 4, or 5 extra reps where you're like, man, I was going to stop at 10. And then you knock it out, you got 14 or 15. It's those little things that like that camaraderie builds. And it's tough when you get away from that and you go to lifting on your own. You're just like, man, I'm kind of bored. Like you don't have, there's always that, like, you've got to have that self motivation when you're trying to compete, but it makes it a lot easier and more fun a lot of times when you're with somebody. Cause it's like, as close as we are, it's kind of like that brotherhood. Like we always made that joke. It's like you make fun of your friends to their face, but you talk good about them behind their back. Like if you're not giving each other a hard time, then there's not really love there. Like that's just kind of how we always are. It's like Jordan might be in there hitting like 405. I'm like, that's it? Like you having a week today? Like, but it's the fun. It's the camaraderie that I think a lot of people need that we're definitely missing out on with some people.
So important. That's true. A lot of people I see, and this is a shout out to everybody who's listening right now who look at, personal trainers on your iPhone while you're in the gym. Listen, as much as that's awesome, I really believe the camaraderie is huge. And when we were talking about Garrett is, Garrett's 72?
70, yeah.
72, 73. He's been in it since he was 13, back in Venice Beach. Okay, so he goes way back when guys in the gym and girls in the gym were
There's segregation, in the gym is men and women.
And so he said camaraderie, it was getting in there, getting together. That's so huge. So everybody watching right now, if you can just find some friends who are really into it and get in the gym and work out together, I'm sure JJ and Jordan would agree with me on this. I know Josh does, but it's huge to get in there and have not just a friendship, but like a real comradeship. And
it's almost like a team.
Yeah, almost like an accountability partner too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, there were times like going back like when
making fun of myself.
Let's say back when I was lifting with JJ, and I was kind of new to the whole like competition scene, and so when it comes down to like closer to competition, you're starting to cut carbs, and he was like, man, I can only have like X amount of carbs, and so you come in and you're just running on empty. I mean, carbs are fuel, and we're going to touch base on that a little bit on the benefits of carbs. We're going to talk about how like you get there's a lot of people who are afraid of carbs. They hear carbs and they just think instant weight gain, like in trying to figure out the good and the bad with the carbs. And we'll touch base on that. But going back with JJ, it's like he'd come in sometimes and he looked great, like he was ready to go, but he's like, man, I can't. I'm running on empty today. So it's kind of like, well, not today. You're going to get your ass in gear and we're going to go. And we would just push each other through. And it's like, if you come in there on your own sometimes, and I would do the same thing. It's like, I've got nothing. And he's like, oh, not today. You don't. He's like, we're working today. And get that camera out, start video. And he's like, everybody's going to see this because we're going to go Instagram live on it. So it's like, all of a sudden you just get it and get that extra energy that you thought you didn't have. But if it wasn't for like that camaraderie or that accountability partner, it just wouldn't be there.
Or vanity.
That has a little bit to do with it.
A little bit.
We're going live.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's all right, though. Everyone's got a little bit to them.
Yeah.
Just pulling your chain.
So
That's also what Garrett said. So
going back to like when it comes to competing, what do Jordan? We can start with you. Like, obviously, there's diet. There's the HIIT part of it. There's the cardio. There's the strength training. Which, like, if you had to rank those, what's your favorite to do? What's your least favorite? What's the hardest thing for you to get mentally prepared for and do when it comes to getting ready for competition?
Dieting, hands down. I didn't die. And I think that's a downfall for most people, like even if you have someone that's trying to train for lifestyle changes, not necessarily getting ready for competing, the first thing that they're going to ask their personal trainer or their coach is, when can I have a cheat meal? What do I have to eat? Do I have to eat this all the time? Dieting's probably the hardest thing for me to mentally wrap my mind around, at least when I first started. Now it's, I've had a taste of success within competing. So it's like, now I just want to keep pushing myself. So it's like diet, it's a piece of cake now. But if I look at the other things that, I have to incorporate within my prep, I would say it's probably between cardio. Yeah, I would say probably cardio.
Okay.
Cardio is the worst, especially when my coach is like, all right, I need you to do 30 minutes HIIT training. I'm like, I just did an hour of fasted cardio, and you don't do an hour of fasted cardio throughout the whole prep, okay? This is like closer to like peak week, 2 weeks out from the show, really trying to, dial my body in and be ready. But once, I throw that HIIT training in, when I'm carb depleted, when I just did an hour of cardio in the morning, HIIT cardio at night is the death. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but it's like, you're 2 weeks out from the show, just, it's balls to the wall at that point,
Yep.
and tell people how it really is. It's chemical. It really truly is. Most people who are watching are like, well, why would you work out 3 times? It really is a chemical. Tell them about it.
Yeah. So depending on where you are within your competition prep, if you're in your early on stages, most preps last for about, I would say the longest, 16 weeks, depending on your starting point, obviously. The shortest prep I've ever seen done successfully has been 10 weeks. I usually stay within the 12 to 14 week range. So once you get your diet in check, for the first maybe 5 weeks, you're probably in like maintenance mode, right? So you're not really cutting just yet, but you're getting your body acclimated to take on, eating less food, working out, hour and a half, 45 minutes, whatever the case is, whatever your coach prescribes for you. You're just getting your body prepared for that. Because once your coach starts cutting your carbs and manipulating your fats, that's when your body starts to change and react to certain things. And it takes quite some time for you to really understand, how your body looks, carb deprived versus fat deprived, when you should, put certain carbs in, when you should take fats out, when you should carb load, whatever the case is. There's carb cycling that you can do. And everybody's body is different. So it takes a good coach and even a personal trainer to really figure out an athlete's body to see what works best for them. So even, when you get closer to your show, if most people, some people, I would say some people cut carbs completely. I don't because my body is very carb sensitive. So if I cut carbs completely, like I'm going to flatten out like that. So I kind of keep my carbs around, 150, 100 to 150, 150 grams going into my show. And then if I need to carb load to fill back in, which, that's what good carbs do. There's bad carbs too. But there's good carbs that you use to fill your muscles out, right? That gets the blood flowing back into the muscle when you're pumping up, things of that nature to give you a more fuller physique. And I do that, a couple days leading up to my show. So it is almost like a science project for most coaches to figure out what works best for each athlete.
Because you can peak too soon, and I'm sure JJ, you're in this too. I mean, you're ready for competition. All of a sudden, you're 2 weeks out, and you're thinking, oh, I think I peaked too soon.
Yeah, it's one thing you don't want to do is peak too soon, because usually if you hit that level of peaking too soon, you run the risk of like looking flat on stage or losing too much muscle, or just a bunch of things could go wrong at that point. It's just like you said, it's just all science behind it. You want to peak at just the exact right time. Because I've even done a show before where like I competed and I looked great, but the next day after I competed and I ate like totally different, like that night,
crazy, right?
I was a god. Like I was a Greek god that night. I was like, I remember what happened the day before. So it's all sides. You just gotta find that right. I mean, like he hit on also, it's like everyone's body is totally different. So my diet, what I exactly do, if someone my size that looked about the same as me, same physique, did the same diet, we would not have the same results. So, some people, gotta find that level, their proteins, their carbs, their fats, when they eat, how they work out, how much they work out, like do they like the type of hit they need, the type of, any cardio, or, even rep scheme. I mean, rep schemes normally probably about the same it's not too big of a difference, but, depending on how people look, their workouts are going to be totally different to get ready for.
Yeah. Yeah, rep schemes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, in respect to both of y'all, so important that people who are watching right now understand that even though they're talking about getting ready for a show, life is a show. And if you're getting ready, and I know they both agree with me, so everybody who's in the chat room, if you guys want to ask some questions to JJ and Jordan, please be open, ask them anything. But it's important
almost
to recognize
anything. Almost anything.
I'm sorry, almost anything, because God knows we can ask too much.
We got some friends out there that are probably watching this one that are just waiting.
A can of worms. No, but this is so important because people, we were talking about it earlier, and I know we'll get to this in a little while, but carbs are protein this, fat this. There's so much information that you guys are talking about being 12 weeks out or 10 weeks out from a show. Body transformation is a science. It's very interesting. It's a brain science, a mind science, and a body science. Obviously, all of these pieces together, you guys have mastered it. You stand on stage. It's very challenging to stand on stage partially naked to really show how much you've created, not how much you've ripped down, how much you have built up.
Right.
And that's extraordinary to me. I have incredible respect for that. And I'd like a lot of people who are watching, maybe you don't want to compete, but if you get a third of what these guys are talking about, you will win. And to me, that's amazing. So I just want to throw that out there, even though it's a science, and I want people to hear the science. It's interesting.
Well, let me ask y'all real quick. I've gotten a lot of questions from people, and I figured this would be a good platform to do it. So the art of building the muscle, give people some tips and advice on being able to maintain the muscle. So, you get a lot of people that, especially now, there's a lot of people that are sick, weather's up and down. It's 30 degrees one day, it's 60 degrees one day. People are having sinus issues. They won't work out for a couple days. They come back into the gym. They feel like they've hit the reset button. It's like they're starting from scratch. But, it is like sometimes you leave the gym and you might have had a week off. You had work, you traveled, you did whatever. Because not everyone has the perks of being able to be in a gym every day. but they feel like they've lost muscle, they've lost size, they feel loose. They don't feel tight, but they're still their body's still there. But what are some like maybe pointers or tips you can give them for people who are like, well, I want to be able to help maintain muscle? Because not everyone is trying to get to the physique level, but they want to kind of follow that routine or regimen. What are some pointers or some tips you think you give to like the average Joe Jane person who's just trying to lift and try to maintain some muscle?
Yeah, you
Okay.
take that?
I'll go first on that one. One thing I would say is really just, first off, you got to be consistent. So let's say if you are traveling or if you are doing something new or if you just get bored, switch it up. Like if you can't do anything at work or if you're like on vacation, like a work trip, the first thing you should do is just find something new. Like you can still run, do push-ups, something like that. But really it comes down to your food, eating, and I guess y'all would say the same thing. We get so used to working out all the time and our muscles being tense, and that pump feeling, that when we don't have that and our bodies just relax and feel normal, we feel loose and we feel like we haven't. But really, it's every once in a while I feel like we need to take, just a few days off for our muscles to fully heal back. And we're focused on stretching. Go take a yoga class. Do something different, but it's still beneficial to your body. But a lot of people also with saying that are afraid to eat. And people don't realize like you need to eat your protein. Like you need to have like your good carbs. People gotta understand there's difference between, it's not carbs, there's good carbs and bad carbs. There's some fat. There's healthy fat and there's unhealthy fat. And it's like you have to consume, like you don't want to be malnutrition. Like you have to eat all your vitamins or minerals. You need your antioxidants. Like you need everything for your body to heal. So to keep muscle really, I think most importantly, it's also about sleep. Like some people try to do, 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep, go to the gym and eat, and they're like, hey, I can't do it all. And it's like, no, like you need to sleep. You got to at least get those 8 hours and 30 minutes in.
Wow. 8 hours and 30 minutes? Jeez.
He's got down.
And 30 minutes. To be exact.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, JJ. So, I think that's a common misconception for most people that if they take a week off from the gym, they're losing their gains. In reality, it's not going to happen that quickly, right? So you may not have that pump feeling, you may not have that tight feeling or that hard look that you have in the gym or that you had in the gym the week prior, but it is, crucial and critical for your body for your muscles to really recover. Like Jay said, taking a yoga class, getting massages. I get my body work done, which is essentially just active release training and grasping techniques on my body at least once a month, just to help my body recover quicker. Because if you think about it, if you're beating your body down for an hour and a half in the gym, 5 to 6 days a week. A week off is even if you just go outside and do some ginger walking or a light jog on the treadmill or whatever the case is, that's okay. You don't necessarily need to be pushing heavy weight every day, especially if you're not trying to compete. If you're just doing this for a lifestyle, take up some running, do yoga, take a spin class, things like that. You don't need to put your body under so much stress all the time. So it is absolutely critical for your body to rest and heal, especially if you're beating it down as competitors do.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think a lot of times people feel like if they're not getting their workout in, that they're losing their results or losing their gains, and trying to teach people that recovery is a real thing. Like whether it's, like when we would work out, people would give us they'd ask, because we'd sometimes work out 7 days a week, but we weren't hitting the full body 7 days a week. We might do biceps on Monday and then not hit them again until Friday, but we hit something else Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's like we were working out 7 days, but we were really breaking things down to muscle groups where some people who do spin or doing HIIT classes or any sort of cardio, it's important to know that it's okay to take that day off. But I think a lot of people have to balance out. It's a mental thing for them. It helps them more than anything. Like the exercise isn't necessarily to be in shape. It's to help their mental state of mind because they need that release and that outlet.
Sure.
But trying to find that balance is good. Like maybe don't stick to just one type of workout cross train a little bit, like go do a CrossFit, go do a spin, go do a yoga, intertwine all that together. And I think you'll like maybe your results, but you'll definitely be able to go and have that mental release while you're doing it without completely putting all that strain on your body consistently.
Definitely. And can't stress enough. Nutrition is key. You can do all of this stuff. You can do, spin, yoga, weight training, HIIT classes, all you want. But if your nutrition is trash, you're not going to get any results. Period. So
true.
It's that enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing of everyone that we've had on so far. That's the main thing and everyone having a fitness background and knowledge in that's the one thing that I'll talk about. And we're going to work with getting some of the couple of the guys that own some nutrition shops here in town on, maybe get with some dietitians just to speak about how, like, some people feel like they don't eat, that's how they lose weight, but trying to you actually need to eat to lose weight. So, like, we get clients and they're just like, what do you mean I need to eat more to lose weight? That doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I don't know what blog you read or what Dr. Phil thing you saw or Dr. Oz, but like, yes, you need to eat to lose weight.
Right.
But we love Dr. Oz.
A bad diet. You
They're great.
cannot out-train a bad diet.
Absolutely,
That's true.
Darn it! No.
Unfortunately, right?
But like you talked about earlier, during like cheat meals. So obviously talk to people about, and I got a story about when we were in Chicago together for junior nationals.
Oh, is this the one you told me earlier? Because if that's you got to tell it right off the top. Is this the candy aisle story?
Yeah, this is my first time like really like being at a competition, and I'm up there with JJ, and we got a bunch of friends up there, and everyone came to Chicago, and Jordan's mom was in town, and your sister came in town also, and so it was a big ordeal, and I was like, I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna find a gym. The hotel that we had a horrible gym, like it was the size of a shoebox, like it wasn't that great. So I think we went and found a gym in town. The next stop was the grocery store. I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are gonna want to get fish, and we're gonna get some broccoli and this. Jordan, like a kid in a candy store, literally went straight to the candy aisle. We had a cart full of I'm like, man, this is. We had like gummy bears, and we had cakes and Pop-Tarts, and you would have thought he was feeding an army of 70. It was just him. And then here comes JJ, like, oh, they got those Pop-Tarts. Oh, let me get these. It was the funniest and most amazing thing I've ever seen. Because I was like, wait a second. Like, yeah, we're at the competition. Sugar, that's it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Pop-Tarts.
Hey. So
I had a friend who used to have before she was a bodybuilder, and she would get super nervous before she'd go on. So she would eat an orange, because that sugar influx right before you go on is going to pump that muscle full.
Yep.
And she would put a shot of brandy in it. I can't believe I just told that lie.
I've actually seen people do that.
That's hilarious.
I will not tell
Drink
them.
wine or drink vodka backstage. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So go back to that. So I've heard that one, it probably calms your nerves, but being so precise on your diet at that point where you're about to go on stage, do people do things like that? What does that affect, like the tightness, like the dehydration? Like, does it make you a little tighter at all? Is it more like a myth, or like
the sugar?
That shot, that wine or that shot or something before you go on stage? Like, some people might do it to calm nerves. Some people say they do it because they feel tighter because they're a little more dehydrated.
Yeah, so I think it has to play in your water consumption and then your level of vascularity. So for what I've heard, and I've never done this before, but if you take a shot backstage, based on what your water depletion schedule, you take a shot backstage, your vascularity would come through a little bit more, just because you're really not hydrated as you should be. So your veins will pop through your skin a little bit more, make the muscle look a little bit more fuller, things like that. So, like I said, I've never done it before. I usually just use sugar. So, like the gummy bears that I picked up, I would like mash one of the, a couple of those, or a Reese cup, whatever the case is. So, like last for Miami, I actually had a whole slice of cake.
For Miami, in Miami.
What kind of cake?
Yeah, what kind of cake? Let's get specific, so you can't just say cake.
So it It was a triple chocolate.
You can remember that.
German cake or something like that.
German chocolate cake.
Yeah. So it was probably the slice was probably about this big. I murdered it like in 2 seconds.
Well, it's funny because you say slice, and I was like, yeah, you know that slice is like this big. It's not a sliver. This thing's like
it was good. It was a little
cake.
slice, man. It was pretty thick. You know what I'm saying?
So
like, right after that, like my veins were popping and everything. I was like, okay, here we go. Felt pretty good. Yeah, they were.
JJ, what's your go-to like candy snack? Like when you grabbed everything too. Like you just scooped it all into the cart. But
if I have to pick one, oh, y'all know churros.
Churros, yeah, of course.
Churros,
You ain't getting no fresh baked churros before the show. You gotta find something you can pick up in the grocery store. What would that be?
Something in the grocery store? It's 100% red velvet cake. Like cupcakes.
Pretty good. Stop.
Do you remember? So this is before I didn't go to this competition, but I was in that townhome and JJ just got done with the competition. I can't remember how it went, but you came over and we went to the grocery store. We bought red velvet cake. We brought the pre-made like sugar cookies that aren't real cookies. We got the icing all over them.
Good brownies,
ice cream. The next morning, I was like, man, my stomach hurts so bad. I was like, how you feel? Like, man, I feel good. Like, I had 10,000 calories, 1,000,000 grams of sugar. I'm ready to go. Let's go hit the gym. I'm like, I can't. I'm going to roll back over real quick. But iron stomach.
I'm totally losing it because that's terrible. I've never seen so many people feel so energized after competition or pre-show. So they're like, okay, I got through the pre. We're gonna be fine. They go through the grocery store and eat everything on the aisle. The next day they're like, we got this.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I think it's also the anticipation of just like, all right, look, in 12 weeks, like, it starts off as, hey, after 12 weeks, like, I'm gonna go get some donuts. 2 weeks closer, it goes into, I'm getting donuts and I'm getting cake. Then as you get closer, it's like, yo, I want Pop-Tarts. I was like, I want some, what's that, Sour Patch Kids, and the list just keeps going. And by the time you hit stage, you're like, yo, tomorrow's the day, I can eat whatever I want. You go to the store to get one, but then your friends bring you food, you know, one of your friends make you something homemade, and then it's just like, it all just builds up.
And then you're fat.
In like 2 days, you gain 15 pounds. You're like, oh my gosh, I no longer look like I'm dead. This is
like the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's it. I did buy some donuts today because I had some Dunkin' Donuts ordered to the house.
Kudos to you, sir.
Yeah, I had to celebrate. I was like, you know what? I want to custom filled. What's that?
Krispy Kreme, when that thing is
it's hot and ready? Yeah, yeah. No, I had Dunkin' Donuts because they were closer. I didn't want to wait 40 and 50 minutes for Krispy Kreme, so I did Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, of course. Why wait 40 minutes for
Hey, I had a great leg day workout today. That sugar helped out perfectly. This is my pre-workout meal.
No.
4 donuts.
Eat one. I don't know how to eat just one.
I ordered a dozen.
Oh my God. You ate them all?
I ate 6 of them.
Jeez.
Shame on you. Now you make me upset because I have to do high protein, low carb. Listen, JJ and Jordan, I had a coach back in the day. I was on a real tight lean down. And I'm going to not lie. I went on a date. And I had 2 glasses of red wine. And the lean down was I had to lose 2 inches by a certain amount of time. And this was Garrett. And I'm in the gym. It was very obvious that I hadn't lost it. And he called me into his office. He said, and he pulled out the measuring tape. I'm like, oh no, not today, because he was real like old in his speech, like don't mess with him moment. And he said, Beach. He called me by my last name. Get over here. I'm like, oh God, it's all going down now. I know I hadn't lost it. And he measured my waist and he said, get the beep 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 out of my gym until you're ready to be serious. I'm like, this is, by the way, Jordan, down in Miami. Wow. I was, that's where I'm from, Miami. So I spent 17 years in Miami. And so I'll never forget, I'm in my car, I'm like, I'll never go on a date again. It was all from carbs. Carbs
See?
and alcohol.
That was a no business coach right there.
No, he does not play.
All right, so we have a question from the chat.
Uh-oh.
So Jennifer wants to know, what's your normal diet look like? Do you switch it up or eat the same meals weekly? So JJ, we'll start with you. What's your normal, let's say like regular non-competition, like you're just normal?
Okay, so I love to grill. So usually I'll go to the store and I love seafood. So really, whatever seafood's on sale that day, like whether it be like mahi, salmon's probably my favorite. And I usually will pair that with, I'm pretty sure I'm addicted to sweet potatoes. So it usually be about like 8 ounces, let's say 8 ounces of salmon, cooked various ways. Like always switch it up, do different seasonings, different marinades, whatever I'm feeling that week. Usually with like a sweet potato and some vegetables. I mean, really, sometimes it might be like a kale salad, a spinach salad. Sometimes it's broccoli. I might press corn on the cob, grilled, obviously too. But mine's usually fish, sweet potato, and a vegetable.
So what about your breakfast and your lunch? You know what I mean? If that's your dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a holiday. Something that, because you figure most people, the hardest thing for them is breakfast. You know, usually people try to skip breakfast when they really shouldn't. So it's like, what would be like your everyday, like your all day like meal plan look like?
Okay. So I usually wake up, I'll eat probably 6 egg whites with Thomas English muffins, the blueberry ones, fire. I'll eat that for breakfast, and then I eat 3 times at work. And usually it's something quick. Like my next meal, I'll probably have about 4 egg whites again with like another blueberry English muffin. The next meal will probably be, I would say, like a kale wrap. I like wraps, so I'll do like a kale wrap. I'll mix up like spinach. I love peppers. I like spicy food. And I'll either throw like some shredded chicken in there, kind of mix it up. I'll just eat that by itself. And then let's say the next meal will probably be a pretty hefty meal because I know I'm gonna lift soon. So it might be another, 7 ounces of chicken with like a cup and a half of rice. And
now with the rice, does it matter if it's brown or white? Is there a preference, or Jasmine? What's best for people?
My favorites have been, not sure if I'm saying this right, Basmati. See, that and jasmine are my favorite. I mean, I even switched up and do quinoa too. And my last meal will probably be a protein shake, and I love, at night, to get rid of my sweet tooth, I love like a big handful of like frozen blueberries. I'm gonna do like a handful of frozen blueberries, handful of almonds, and a protein shake.
JJ, do you drink?
Yes.
Yes, I do, Kat. Thank you for asking. No, that seems to be, right? I asked that for a reason. That seems, as you're going through the dietary plan, that seems to be the #1 issue for a lot of people. Wine, vodka, beer, the evening cocktail before they go to bed.
So I normally say with water every once in a while. I don't drink a lot, but I like tequila, but I don't like mixed drinks. So I would try to push people away from doing mixed drinks because they'll do sodas, they'll add a bunch of sugar, and before they know it, they don't have one, they have like 2 or 3. I mean, a glass of red wine every once in a while is perfectly fine. I would feel like it'll help you relax. You'll sleep good. I mean, they say 8 ounces of red wine, and I think 6 ounces of dark beer is good for you a week also. But I would just stay away from like the hard liquors also, because once you start to drink too much, alcohol does affect your body. So your whole recovery process, that's going to slow it down. So if you do it daily, that's not good. I would stay away and limit it. But I mean, really, it's just about, you can still do what you want. It's just in moderation. So if you like tequila, you can drink it. You can't drink it every day. And watch what you mix it with. Like, hey, a shot or 2 a week, it's fine. It's little, but try not to drink alcohol. Mostly just push the water.
Did you hear that, people? They said don't drink alcohol. I just wanted to make sure I.
In extreme
No, I
moderation.
just heard in moderation.
In
Oh,
extreme
that what
moderation.
you heard?
Yeah. I got that selective hearing.
Extreme moderation. I would say.
Extreme moderation.
Yeah, if you're competing, if you're competing, cut it
Well,
out.
I'm sorry, if you're competing, other than that, just drink
Other
every
than
night.
Drink to your heart's desires.
So, Jordan, so what about your diet? What's your diet consist of usually? Or your meal, your regular non-competition like eating regimen?
Let's see. Breakfast. I have a few different things that I do. So, I'll take some egg whites, so liquid egg whites, blend up some oats, and make these oatmeal pancakes. And I use a sugar-free syrup just to kind of break up the monotony of not having sugar. So I use sugar-free syrup with that, or I'll just have some egg whites, some shredded cheddar, some fat-free shredded cheddar, with a few whole eggs, maybe a bowl of cream of rice. Um, oh, Kodiak pancakes. I at least have
Those are the best.
I at least have once a week.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I have those once a week at least. So usually on Saturdays I wake up, mix it up, pour me up some pancakes. And then like I usually eat about 6 to 7 times a day, non-competition mode.
Right.
But they're smaller meals, so it could be any of my lean proteins, so turkey, chicken, turkey breast, ground turkey breast, chicken, salmon, tilapia, cod is one of my favorites. Sea bass is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of got into grouper a little bit, but I love like JJ. I like seafood as well.
Yeah.
Shrimp is another one of my go-tos if it's on sale because sometimes it gets a little pricey. But but yeah, and then probably once a week I'll do like a red meat, like a sirloin or something like that, or a 93.7 ground beef, and I'll make some hamburgers and use my sugar-free ketchup with the Ezekiel bread if I wanted to, or I could just use whole bread depending on how I'm feeling. Obviously, it has some sugar in it, but if I don't care, I'll go whole bread. So I try to switch it up a little bit. It depends on what I'm trying to accomplish in my off season. Trying to put on weight, like I have to eat a bunch of calories. So at one point when I was trying to put on some pounds, I was eating roughly 5,500 calories a day. Um,
Say it again.
a lot of food,
Yeah.
ton of food. And that was going 8 times a day. So my first meal was at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't stop eating until 10:30 at night. So it got a little bit much, and then at one point I was just like tired of chewing, so I started like blending my food and drinking it.
Yeah.
But that only lasts for like 6 months, maybe. At least at that point it did, because I was trying to bulk. But on other days, I just try to have a little bit of variety.
So touch base real quick. I want your guys' opinion on this because a lot of people. So you were saying your last meal might be at 10 to 10:30. So some people are like, oh, I can't eat after 8 o'clock. I can't eat after this. What's your advice for people who feel like they can't eat after a certain time? Do you feel like that's okay? Or do you feel like they need to focus more on calories, macros, or what's your take on that?
I would say, I mean, it depends on what time you go to sleep, what time you wake up, but you definitely need something to where you're not losing muscle. So I would say you want, something with protein, depending on, what you ate throughout the day. You kind of want not a lot of carb. I wouldn't make it a heavy carb meal, but at least like a little something, just to hold you over. But again, it depends on how many times you're working out, what all you ate that day. I think, the aminos are pretty essential. You want the protein, you're about to go to sleep, your muscles are going to heal in your sleep, but you got to give them something to do that with.
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't eat, nothing even moderately in fat. Like you want to keep fat as low as possible before you go. Carbs, if you're eating carbs, they're going to be good carbs, and you probably don't want a whole lot. But you definitely want something like high in protein. I mean, even if you want something sweet, it's good to you can do like a little bit of fruit to get you off that kick at night also, which helps. But I would definitely suggest eating not right before you go to bed, but I mean maybe 45 minutes, an hour. I mean, That's what I do. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
What do you think, George? Same thing?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Usually if I'm, and again, this isn't for everyone that's, not competing or whatever, but if I'm bulking, I usually do like a heavy casein protein that kind of digests a little slower. So it's almost as if I ate a full meal, well, at least from a protein perspective. And I'm not going to be starving in the morning. But as far as like, that myth where if you eat carbs past 9 p.m. or something like that, you're going to get fat the next day. It's not true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't have 2 cups of rice right before you go to bed. Just kind of silly, but like JJ said, I would definitely have, at least some sort of carb, protein, with a vegetable or some sort of fiber, to help break down some of that food that you're consuming.
Jordan, tell people, because we mentioned it a few times, we haven't been specific. We keep saying good carbs, bad carbs. Give them a list of a handful of good carbs.
Yeah, sure. So there's complex carbs. If you want to look this up, for those listening, there's complex carbs and there's simple carbs. So your simple carbs are the ones you want to stay away from. So those are like sugars, packaged cookies, bread that you get in the package, anything that's processed. Some of those things have carbohydrates in them, but they're not good. The complex carbs that you want to focus on or really try to target, like JJ has an addiction to sweet potatoes. Those are good. Oats are good. Whole grain pasta and whole grain rice is good. Quinoa is good. Trying to think of what else. Ezekiel bread is also a good carb. That's kind of it's a sprouted grain bread that you usually find in the freezer aisle. What else do I eat? And then rice, of course. I think to talk on that. I like basmati rice. I like jasmine rice. I like whole grain rice. I don't do a plain white rice though, just simply because I don't like it. Or yellow rice, don't do that. Got a bunch of crap in it that you don't need. But those basmati, jasmine, whole grain rice, those are pretty good carbs.
So, tell us real quick. So, with Artistic Muscle, what do you guys have coming up? Is there anything you guys are doing? Is it just a clothing line? Is it a team? Like what? Give a little bit more breakdown of what it is and what you guys have coming down the pipe with.
Jay, you want to take it?
All right, so Artistic Muscle, what we have coming soon is we are now working. Well, actually, what's it? 2.5 weeks left. We're gonna have a whole new apparel line come out. We're gonna have a lot of new stuff. Y'all check that out on the website. We're gonna have, men's joggers. We got zip-up jackets with the collars and the hoods. We got some crop basketball old school jerseys for the girls. We just have a lot coming out. We're also in the mix of throwing out a supplement line that everyone should look out for. Not anything crazy, but we're starting with some pump pre-workout mix. We do have BCAAs and also a nighttime. So that's also in the mix too, on the lookout. So everyone be sure to check it out when it comes out.
So that's going to be artisticmuscle.com?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Very, yeah. And BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, by the way, huge importance. I want to just shout out about that, JJ, for females and males, especially females who are going, and then the ones who are watching, so I know there are a lot of, going through perimenopause, and those who are trying to build muscle tissue. Branched chain amino acids are very, very important. So just throwing that out.
It's definitely a supplement to use. I've heard, and I don't know the science behind it because I'm not a nutrition or anything, but if you're consuming enough protein, you don't have to consume as many BCAAs as they suggest. I wouldn't drink it every day, but it does help with recovery, just like your regular protein does it. So if you're consuming enough of that, I wouldn't overdo it on the BCAAs. It's not required, but it is helpful. So it supplements what you're already doing. Yeah, a good call there.
Yeah, just for that.
All right, so I got a question. So we've been doing this towards the end of every segment with each person. JJ, I'll ask you first. Jordan, you'll get a chance to think about it. 5 people you would love to have dinner with, dead or alive. Who are your top 5 people?
Top
Top
5?
family. Yeah, top 5 people, dead or alive, you want to have dinner with.
Ooh, that's a good one. First one, dead or alive. Arnold.
Yeah.
And Brandon. Brandon would be one. He won Olympia. I'd love to sit down and speak with him. Besides that, I feel like Nipsey Hussle also would be a great one.
Yeah.
He's a great motivator. Just very business minded and smart, want to help the community.
And Nipsey was good.
I had 2 more. It's a good one.
No, it's tough. When you're on the spot, it's tough. Like in like 30 minutes, you're gonna text me like, "Oh, I know the other people."
Who else would be good?
I know, right? Dig deep now, JJ. Dig deep.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, I feel like I'd be really down to sit down with and speak.
Man,
He would be my number 4.
Ray's got some energy. I just need a fraction of his energy.
Oh, all day. Oh, that man never stopped. And five, it might have to be The Rock. He has came a long way. I didn't know that he used to live in Nashville.
Yeah.
Also got a lot of trouble in Nashville.
Yeah.
He completely changed his life. So I feel like just to sit down and speak with him also would be pretty inspiring.
Those are good. Those are good. Jordan, who you got? Who's your top 5?
Top 5 dead or alive. Let's see. I know 2 of them off rip would be Sean Combs and Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I can probably learn a ton of them from a business aspect.
Yep.
I feel like Nipsey Hussle is like the Tupac of our time. But I would like to actually sit down and talk with Tupac, even though he's not my favorite rapper. I think Biggie's better, but you know.
But you're New York bias, though.
Yeah.
I knew Tupac was one of my guys. Tupac was one of my guys. Yeah.
He was definitely in tune with the community. With trying to help people prosper, people of color really. So that would be one. JJ kind of stole mine already, so I'm gonna have to think of somebody else.
Who was your other one?
The Rock.
Of course.
That's a good one. I mean,
oh, you know that one guy that does dang, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm gonna come back to that. J-Lo, I want to sit down with her, take her to dinner one time. Steal her from A-Rod.
They're very good at add A-Rod into that. And you're like, J-Lo, and you know what you
then what you can do is you can let Cat go to dinner with A-Rod, and you can take J-Lo to dinner.
Hey, we can do that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
teamwork.
Take A-Rod somewhere else. I'm trying to think of who else I would do. Last one.
That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I want to add a 6?
You said a 6?
Yeah, I forgot about somebody. But Jordan, you probably know what I'm about to say. Brandon Lockwood.
Oh my gosh. He's not even a real character.
Like, he's in a lot back in the day. Like,
He's not even real.
Back in the day.
He's not real.
He is real.
Who'd you say?
Brandon Lockwood.
From Vikings? It's a character.
He actually really did that.
All right, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the last person that I would probably talk with is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I would talk to him. Just to kind of try to get his, pick his brain around bodybuilding. Him or Charles Glass. I feel like I could learn a lot from those two.
Yeah.
Because they call him the godfather of bodybuilding. But.
I think it would be fun to sit down with Arnold and The Rock and just kind of get the perspective, because they're both like the action stars now. They had different backgrounds. Arnold obviously was like the bodybuilding. I mean, that's his thing. But they're like, how The Rock came up and did his, like just to get the perspective to where they started differently, but they kind of came forward to being these top action superheroes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of just their perspective on the grind, how it was, how the difference in the time then compared to now, like what was the hardest thing to deal with.
And you'd appreciate it. Jordan Arnold was business about everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
He was absolutely to the T business. You know, everybody sees him in this bodybuilding experience, and you know, obviously he's extraordinary. He's paramount. But the bottom line is he knew what he wanted, and he went after every goal, and he structured it very specifically. So yeah, what a great dinner that would be.
Exactly. Awesome. What's your 5, Josh?
Man, so I think I'm with you with. I won't steal The Rock. I think The Rock is just it's. I won't say cliche, but I mean since he's just the guy right now, that's where everyone want to go. I definitely want to do Tupac for sure. I think he'd be great. This is kind of like the hip hop I listened to growing up that I had to hide from my parents because the conservative we lost JJ. He was like, I'm out.
Obviously, he doesn't agree. He's like, we're done.
Sorry, man. He's Tupac for sure will be on there. Man, I would love to sit down with like this is completely like random, but with like someone like a either Bill Belichick, someone who is like so good at their craft that's almost perfected what they do, and I'm not necessarily like a big Patriots fan or like, but I just respect like him or like a Nick Saban who have just dominated their industries. Like, besides your work ethic, what else have you done for that to be like what's gotten you to where you are? I would, I love Jalen Rose. Just like his NBA career, he wasn't like the biggest NBA guy. Like he was consistent, like with 13 years, but like then coming in being like an analyst and doing his podcast and just like his everything he does for the community and still staying in touch with everything back in Detroit. And then I love, like, I don't know if any of y'all watch the history, but Bomani Jones is like my favorite person to watch on TV right now. Like is all the analyst stuff he does, the ESPN, his podcast and things like that I listen to. He's probably the other person. I think he'd be one of those guys you can just kind of sit down with and chit chat, and he'll talk shoes with you, he'll talk Jordans with you, he'll talk everything, and he'll just be kind of like upfront and honest with you. There's no BS with him at all. What about you, Kat? Who's your top 5?
I was afraid you guys might ask me. So let's sit down for about an hour. Put my glasses on. I've got some people I've got to. No. Actually, no. Wow. 5. Top Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
Top because she's extraordinary. She stood for what she believed in. She was an extraordinary writer, and she. God, there's so much to say. I'm not going to get into
Angela would be good.
When somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. That's my Angelou, and I really respect her on so many levels. So that's number 1. I would love to have dinner with her. Second, Twyla Tharp. She was a frontierswoman in modern dance. So from ballet that was very structured and in a box. Twyla Tharp and Martha Graham were 2 people who brought it off center, and they took everything from in the box and they brought it into this extraordinary exterior zone. And I want to know what it took to take people from that moment of in the box specific, which is kind of where we're at now in our world, to this off center place. For those of you who know modern dance, you'll understand that. Gosh, you know what? I would love to have a conversation and a dinner with my father, who is my hero, and I think he's extraordinary. He's my biggest fan and my biggest critic, and he's an extraordinary man and a self-made man, and I love him. I'd love to have just a table dinner with him where we would just talk about his life, growing up with a single mom, what it was like to journey through that moment, and just really hear his experience through that. That would be incredible for me. So that's, yeah, 3.
Those are good 3, though. Those are good 3.
That's solid 3.
So, the other person I would love to sit down with for lunch and dinner is Oprah Winfrey.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She inspires me. I think there's very few people who have just raged against the machine, who have pushed the envelope no matter what, who have done their job, in their experience. They've had to, in her experience, she's had to, back in the day, do a specific job that she had to do before she did what she wanted to do. And I really honor her and respect her in that journey. So those are some people I'd love to have dinner with and lunch and maybe even breakfast.
Oh yeah, I'll throw Halle Berry on that then if we're talking breakfast, because then
Okay, Halle Berry, fine. You had to bring it back to the humor.
I had to read too serious here. I didn't know what to do with this show after this.
Like, where did you go?
Well, guys, man, I appreciate y'all so much for coming in and being a part of it. Love to definitely get you guys to come back on again. For everybody watching, we're gonna put it up on our on the Instagram. We'll tag Jordan. It's Fly by Nature 1. JJ Joshua Goforth with a 4th the end. Make sure you follow them. Any questions with fitness? They both do the online training. If you're in the Atlanta area, Jordan, personal trainer out there. JJ is here in Nashville on the east side. Also, be ready for the new clothing line in 2 weeks, and the supplements coming in a month or so. Guys, really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Had a blast.
Hopefully we'll see you all again. Also, don't forget, subscribe, like, set the reminders. We'll see you next Tuesday.